not a picnic. We refer to it as the simple life occasionally, but in reality, it's far from that. Despite its natural beauty, the Alaskan wilderness has always presented unique challenges to humanity. This season, America's beloved homesteaders are engaged in a fierce battle for more land. That may not be the case for the Kilture clan. Much time has passed since their reality show originally aired, and rumors have circulated around the farmhouse ever since. Rumors circulated that Jane and Lee's marital bliss masking a deeper gulf between them. The divorce is settled, and now Jane Kilcher is speaking up about the things that uncovering was something that the press was determined to do. You won't believe this revelation. A lovely union in the midst of Homer, Alaska's tough patches, where two spirits met in one of the most difficult places in the United States. The marriage of Jane and Lee Kilcher is an account of their lives together, their histories, their interests, and the difficulties of living. The life on the last frontier in Alaska. Jane and Lee's journey started in an unforeseen way. As kids in Homer, Alaska, they were friends. They hit it off when she was just 12 years old. It just so happened that he was 2 years her junior. Their budding romance owes its momentum to this initial bond. But, as is typical with friendships formed in childhood, they eventually went in separate directions. It was as if they were sprouting from one another. Their differences didn't stop them from maturing into a loving couple. Returned to one another after navigating the intricacies of adult relationships. A native Alaskan named Dron Cassiuni was Jane's spouse. Piper Isolde Cassiuni was the name of their daughter, whom they had together. Her birth year was 2003. However, Nantia Cryanu was married to Lee. She had met him during a business trip to Homer, and was an MBA graduate. Etienne Kilcher was born to the couple in 2001, but they later divorced. As a result of their prior marriages, they were not just uniting as a couple in love. They had also gone through the ups and downs of marriage. A lot had been taught to them regarding love relationships and how to handle specific situations. Upon their adult reunion, Jane and Lee found a harmony that transcended their common Alaskan heritage. Their shared appreciation for music brought them closer. Their relationship became even closer as a result, surpassing that of their childhood. They seemed to have a deep affinity with the untamed landscapes of Alaska. They became friends due to their mutual love of music and the great outdoors of Alaska. They were an ideal pair. Jane's character was a wonderful match for Lee's daring spirit. Cooperation and joint work are often necessary for survival in Alaska. This common ground. For a real adult relationship to last, compatibility was vital. And private ceremony took place in November 2006 to tie the knot. A marriage that would endure for over 20 years began with this. Their wedding celebration was a reflection of their beliefs and the relationship they had with their hometown dating back to their youth. They formed a strong family bond by bringing their children with them. This section became an integral aspect of reality television. It is well acknowledged that surviving in Alaska necessitates a degree of independence and collaboration that could put even the most solid partnerships to the test. Jane and Lee overcame the obstacles that came with their chosen way of life by utilizing one another's talents and finding methods to complement them. When they began to work together professionally, their partnership went beyond the personal. Became a part of the reality show Alaska, The Last Frontier, which airs on the Discovery Channel. The show followed the Kilcher family as they lived on the farm. Being a public figure was more than just a glamorous lifestyle. Their marriage was put under a different type of strain as a result. The examination. Their chosen way of life, in addition to the inherent difficulties of reality television. Because of the complicated combination, the family had a tough time. Their nearly 17-year marriage ended in divorce. Despite the love and support they had for one another, and the many wonderful experiences they had shared came to a close. For those who had been following their story and admiring their bond, the news came as a shock. They gave the impression of being well organized and having little issues to begin with. But then the fissure started to widen, and nobody knew why. This marriage was bound to fail. After 17 years of marriage, Jane and Otsley Kilture announced their divorce in July 2023, ending a chapter in their lives. Through thick and thin, their marriage had persevered. Their marriage can have tragically ended for a number of reasons. When Jane and Otsley tied the knot, they brought with them the hurt and disappointment from past relationships. Piper was born to Jane and John Kasuni, and Otsley had a son named Etienne from his marriage to Nantia Cryentu. Divorce is a traumatic experience that wounds people deeply. Issues with trust and emotional walls may be created, which can manifest again when things get tough. They had a history of instability stemming from their divorces, which exacerbated their marital problems. Although they had initially done a good job of integrating their families, there was still a sense of unease. They had co-parents, not simply exes. The circumstances necessitated their collaboration. In 2015, Otsley endured a terrible tragedy, which was the most agonizing test of their marriage. Trekking mishap. Aside from 2 perforated lungs and shattered ribs, he broke 26 bones in his fall from a cliff, including his arm, shoulder, ankle, and hip. The family was deeply affected by this near-death experience. Some structures were changed in a short period of time, which had an impact on their marital status. Jane became the main caretaker and breadwinner for their household after the accident. Jane was left to handle the rigorous homestead life on her own, while Lee spent a year in recuperation. After a while, it became exhausting to care for a blended family and still meet their individual needs. Her gravely wounded husband still needed her emotional support. This duty took a heavy emotional and physical toll. Not only did the accident put Otsley's life in jeopardy, but it also made Jane confront the fact that they were living a survival existence. It took a long time, and was really painful to recuperate after ATS was gone. Going back to your regular life after that was a challenge. Season 8 filming of Alaska, The Last Frontier resumed. While going through this, the pair had to face the psychological effects of being so near to death, which can alter people's objectives in life and cause them to grow apart from their spouses. The constant hardships of life in Alaska's wilderness would test the resilience of any partnership. Marriages are strained in this isolated community due to the severe weather, risky wildlife encounters, frequent injuries, and lack of social support. Jane and Lee had to face their issues head-on in close quarters with no outside support, unlike couples who can go their separate ways or seek help from others when things go tough. Constant teamwork and shared accountability are essential to meet the physical challenges of living on a homestead. During Otsley's recuperation, for example, one spouse was unable to contribute equally, which led to feelings of anger and tiredness. Because of how harsh their surroundings were, they were unable to put aside their differences. There was never much time or energy left over because survival always came first. For dealing with problems in relationships. Although they reaped financial rewards from deciding to live together on Alaska's last frontier, the decision ultimately turned out to be a burden. Their marriage faced difficulties due to the intense media attention. Surrounded by cameras, producers, and a sea of millions of couples who aren't in a relationship may encounter artificially imposed stresses. Everyone thought their dispute, stress, or personal issue could make for wonderful television. Having a team or camera person following your every move made it even more difficult to operate. Akin to seasoned spies. Viewers are meant to be entertained by the reality TV format. Unlike other forms of pre-programmed television, this one. As a result, it frequently heightens tension and conflict, which could lead to actions that wouldn't normally be encouraged. Sometimes arguments that aren't worth fighting about end up going on for a long time. They were unable to reconcile their public personas with their private lives as a result of the continual performance pressure. Reality TV stardom also made Jane and Ats lead targets of online trolls and rumors. Their connection was the subject of ongoing speculation among critics and fans. False accusations of adultery, money woes, and marital strife were circulated by them. They already had a lot on their plates dealing with their relationship, and the continual stream of rumors and gossip just made things worse. Problems that individuals face alone. Another burden added to the previous ones was the presence of online trolls and detractors. Many couples are unable to sustain the draining double life that results from trying to care for both their public and private selves at the same time. Jane and Atsley's marriage didn't end due to any one major incident. If that were the case, handling it would be less of a hassle. Nevertheless, the pressures mounted and intensified. The 2015 accident started to show the weaknesses. Kilture, the devout son of Alaska. Even though ATS is most known for his reality TV appearances, that is far not his only claim to fame. Alaskan Kilture came into this world in Homer, Alaska on August 26, 1977. The pioneering heritage of the state held great significance for his family. The man's father was Yule and Ruth Kilture, Swiss immigrants who settled the family farm in the 1940s, had a grandson named Ats Kilture Sr., who became famous as a musician and reality TV star. The homestead was situated 11 miles outside of Homer. It supposedly encompasses more than 600 acres and has hosted numerous, perpetuating a lifestyle of subsistence farming. Atsley learned early on to rely on himself as a member of this illustrious Alaskan family. The grown-ups in his family had always treated it as a need, and he had grown up observing them. A house in Kilture ran without centralized heating or other contemporary comforts. People lived there by farming, hunting, and getting ready for the long, cold winters in Alaska. All he needed to succeed in one of the most difficult terrains in the United States was this upbringing. Over time, he came to value, was well-versed in working the land and creating something from nothing. There is a long history of music in the Kilture family. Jewel, an accomplished singer-songwriter, happened to be Atsley's aunt. The Kilture's musical traditions had long been a linchpin. One's identity. It was a fun way to spend time together, while also honoring their Swiss ancestry and keeping their cultural traditions alive. Atsley sensed the world's pull away from home during his young adult years, despite his deep attachment to the farm. I wished I knew what the future held for a guy like him. ATS's insatiable curiosity and love of music were his primary motivators. He would do whatever he wanted, no matter what. So he left his homeland after gathering all of his belongings. He escaped the oppressive atmosphere of the Kilture farm for a while and roamed the nation, performing music at different places. During this time of discovery, Atsley matured greatly as a musician and a person. He strung guitar chords across nation while also refining his abilities. He started to hear music from all around the world and learn about various civilizations. He had to learn new survival skills when he had to live on his own, far from his family. In spite of, Lee came to the realization that his true calling was in Alaska after the possibilities and experiences he had on his musical adventure. He realized as he got older that the family farm was the only location where his upbringing had any relevance. Work ethic was highly esteemed and even admired in the homeland. There was a mismatch between the little world and the great world. Upon his return, he had transformed into an entirely new individual. He had transformed from the rambunctious youth who had once preached about a world full of possibilities just waiting for him to step outside and seize them. Upon his return, he developed a greater respect for his family's traditions, and their dedication to maintaining heritage is paramount. Rather than relying on modern conveniences and technology, Otsley opted to rely more on traditional ways and less intrusion from the outside world, in contrast to some of his relatives. His dedication to preserving the genuine pioneer lifestyle that his grandparents had taught him was evident in this approach. Set up many years ago. A change in his personal life also occurred at the same time as At's return. Jane Kilture, whom he married, shared Ats's passion for Alaska. Making the homestead a success and expanding their home were their shared priorities as a couple. Alaska, The Last Frontier premiered on the Discovery Channel in late 2011, marking the beginning of A.T.S. Lee's rise from private homesteader to public figure. The program followed the Kilture family, as they upheld the homestead and lived by the principles set forth by the founder as they lived out their lives on screen. Through their pioneer forefathers, fans were captivated by the family's modern-day capacity to subsist only on land in Alaska, the last frontier. Everyday struggles on a homestead were depicted in the show. As a rule, they participated in pursuits such subsistence hunting and fishing as a means of winter preparation and property maintenance in the absence of modern technology. Due to the show's unexpected popularity, the Kilture family and their lifestyle received a great deal of attention. As a result, A.T.S. Lee had to make the change from a reclusive homesteader to a public figure, celebrity whose actions were recorded and shown to millions of people nationwide. Otsley Kilture has reaped substantial financial benefits from the immensely popular Alaska, the last frontier. According to recent estimations, his net worth is anywhere between $2 million and $3 million. It might be as much as $5 million, according to some sources. Being a part of the reality TV show is largely responsible for his wealth. Among Discovery Channel's most watched shows, it aired for more than a decade. Being a hit, the show brought in provides A.T.S. Lee with a reliable source of income, letting him keep living on the homestead and putting himself in a secure financial position. Otsley inherited his fortune from his family's well-established property and way of life, in contrast to the majority of reality TV stars, who have a hard time holding on to their money once the program finishes. He was successful in providing a secure financial future for his children, allowing them to carry on his family's tradition of living a life befitting his principles. In addition to his television profits, Otsley has made smart investments that reflect his skills and principles. He is well prepared to take advantage of chances in sustainable living and organic practices thanks to his background in farming, fishing, and hunting. A large chunk of the Kilture family's fortune is held by their vast real estate holdings. In addition to its 600-plus acres and historical significance, the homestead importance is worth a lot as a piece of real estate and a farm. Putting money into upkeep and improvement of the property serves both practical and financial needs for Otsley. That way, the house can keep producing while being preserved for the benefit of generations to come. With his also put money into the machinery and facilities that keep the property running. These investments have helped him preserve the self-sufficient lifestyle that has made him famous, from agricultural and building machines to hunting and fishing gear. In modern times, Otsley Kilture has expanded outside a one-of-a-kind American pop culture luminary. He was a link between more traditional pioneers and more contemporary famous people. Throughout his journey from nomadic musician to television celebrity, Otsley Kilture has demonstrated a remarkable ability to remain rooted to his comfort zone. The fact that he is wealthy has not altered his views on life or his dedication to the farm. On the contrary, he has been able to use his wealth to stay true to his principles and reach more people with the tale of his family through his television career and public persona. Otsley now represents the Alaskan way of life. Hearsay concerning Otsley Kilture. Many rumors and speculations have swirled around Otsley Kilture throughout the years. Most famous people don't even notice. Coming into the limelight brings with it the inevitable scrutiny. Reports start circulating when people pay close attention. Why? Because when there isn't an existing controversy to cling to, people start making their own. His private life, familial ties, and role in the TV show have all been the subject of numerous persistent rumors. A negative rumor that has persisted about Lee for a long time. Concerning Kilture, there are claims that he was unfaithful to his wife Jane. When the couple started to appear apart on the show, or when their chemistry seemed strained, these rumors started to acquire steam. Speculation escalated as soon as followers spotted what they thought were the couple's relationship during specific instances. Their marital status became a hot topic as a result. The accusations of adultery were serious. Their destructive impact is disproportionately high because they undermine fundamental principles held by families. The Kilture clan is featured on their program. How is it that this same man, who spoke so passionately about the value of honesty and perseverance, betrayed his wife? Family togetherness, traditional values, and the significance of collaboration in conquering the severe conditions of Alaska have continually been emphasized themes in The Last Frontier. The Alaskan. Rumors of marital strife were a sharp contrast to the show's and the Kilture family's positive portrayal, which had been built up over a decade of television. There is another persistent rumor that Lee is estranged from his extended family. People in the family. Speculation amongst fans and internet critics has focused on potential animosity between Lee and his brothers and father, Kilture Sr. These whispers usually revolve on instances where Lee seems to be by himself or distant during viewings of family reunions featured in the show. The rumors of Lee's isolation have been spread since people have noticed that he seems to enjoy working on his part of the family farm on his own. According to several spectators, this demonstrated his fundamental independence. For some, it signaled strife within the family. The impression that he was avoiding family-related activities on purpose. Speculation about this became more prominent in seasons when Lee's plots revolved around his solo initiatives rather than family collaborations. Most likely the one that is. The purported dispute between Lee and the production company responsible for Alaska, The Last Frontier, has been making the rounds among viewers. According to these rumors, Lee has voiced his displeasure with the show's portrayal of his family and the pressures of reality TV production. He may have been sick of the constant filming and the prying into his family's personal lives, according to several theories. The fact that it seemed like everyone else felt the same way makes these rumors stick around for a long time. People who are a part of reality shows may find them intrusive and too genuine at times. Those people. The production business would eventually control the families and celebrities involved if they did not have enough leverage. They put in a lot of time and effort to keep the ratings stable. A number of fans have raised the possibility that Lee pressured, resisted specific plot points, or declined to be involved in scripted drama, causing friction with Wilma TV producers. Some have even speculated that his diminished screen time in specific seasons was due to these purported disputes. If you saw Alaska, The Last Frontier in its early seasons, there were few rumors about Lee, and he was mostly depicted in a positive light. Instead of diving into personal scandals, the show was focusing on presenting the family's lifestyle as it was getting its footing. At first, there wasn't much debate to discuss. In the middle of the show's run, rumors started to circulate more widely. At the same time, the show was receiving increasing coverage in the media and had a rapidly expanding fan following that wanted to know more about the cast members' private lives. During this period, the allegations of infidelity started to circulate more widely. Notably in the years 2016 to 2017. Some viewers noticed that Lee and Jane's on-screen behavior changed when they were around each other during this time. A lot of rumors have been floating about in recent years, mostly around conflicts within the family and disputes over filming. During this time, there was a connection between more generalized debates over the morality and health risks of reality TV. The rumors surrounding Kilture have been greatly aided by social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Many times, fan sites that focus on Alaska, the last frontier, transform into creating an environment where users can speculate based on the little information given, by sharing images and analyzing episodes frame by frame. Because of how these platforms work, rumors can be transferred from user to user and grow in complexity as they go. Assuming an ATS user posted an unusual behavior towards his wife in an earlier thread, a second user then adds that he may be infidelity. Someone else decides to use the information and accuses him of cheating. Instagram and similar visual platforms have contributed significantly to the spread of rumors. Fans keep a careful eye on the cast members' individual social media pages in search of details regarding their romantic relationships and daily lives. You can't say for sure that these rumors are true, even if social media has a major hand in making and spreading them. No smoke is detected. Free from flames. Jane chose to address the rumors as they persisted. According to some, her speech came a little too late. The reputation of ATS has already been damaged by all the rumors. What, though, did Jane Kilture think of these rumors? Jane's position on the allegations. Christina Jane Furman was the birth name of Jane Kilture. She became well known in Alaska, the last frontier, after proving herself to be a strong and successful woman outside of reality television. Jane established herself as a competent skipper, entrepreneur, and fisherwoman. Her knowledge of the sea goes back many years. Prior to the arrival of the cameras, she toiled as a commercial fisherman in the perilous waters of Alaska. She was mentally tough and has the kind of practical life skills that would propel her to stardom on the Discovery Channel show. Beyond her time spent fishing, Jane has demonstrated that she defies easy categorization. She has done exceptionally well after branching out into other industries, in contrast to many Alaskans who stayed close to their family vocation as they were growing up. While working as a chef, she was able to display her cooking skills as they showcase a variety of Alaskan dishes on the show. The ancient ways of preserving food, hunting, and homesteading that are necessary for surviving in Alaska's harsh environment are all within her area of expertise. Jane is no stranger to the music industry either. She was a singer and songwriter who put on a show. As a protector of her heritage and culture, she occasionally drew inspiration from her time in Alaska in her work. Several seafaring disciplines are part of Jane's formal education. She is certified as a captain and has a commercial fishing license. Her many entrepreneurial endeavors attest to her excellent business knowledge as well. She helped out with the family's business fishing ventures, and the family's homesteading ventures have brought in a substantial amount of money. Jane was elevated to a pedestal of her own due to these accomplishments. She seems to have achieved a lot in her life, except from her marriage to Kilture. After her divorce, rumors started to circulate. Became public knowledge. Jane resolved she would not stand by while they tore apart the person she had once loved. All of the accusations of infidelity were refuted by her. After the divorce, Jane made some public remarks in which she played the moral high ground, refusing to participate on the rumors or give the speculators more material to work with. Notably absent from her Facebook page announcement of the divorce were any allegations or placement of blame. "I lost my best friend, and it hurts, but I am unable to control the fact that Lee is divorcing me," she said simply. "I suppose that's just the way life is." This reaction is very different from what one might anticipate if adultery had played a role in their breakup. Jane has opted to keep her privacy and dignity intact rather than participate in an escalating situation, or the rumors were baseless, depending on her decision not to confirm them. A public debate. Another source of continuous curiosity has been rumors of Lee's purported estrangement from his extended relatives and possible conflicts within the Kilture clan. But Jane hasn't brought up any family-related matters during the divorce to clarify or elaborate. She still finds time to visit with further Kilture relatives. This is demonstrated by her public appearances and involvement on social media. That they were ever apart from the family is completely disproven by this. She gets along well with her other Kilture relatives, which bodes well for any. Her interactions with the extended Kilture family remained unaffected by the minor familial disputes. Jane has also not addressed the rumors that have circulated regarding conflicts with production demands, shooting schedules, or the show's direction. Considering the importance of her position in the show and her self-evident ease throughout filming, she would have been engaged, either directly or indirectly, in any significant production disputes. She may have exaggerated or completely disproved the claims that production concerns played a role in the divorce, since she didn't bring them up. What Jane did next. Her continued involvement with the program after the divorce suggests that her reservations about the show's production were not significant enough to cause her to leave. Her demeanor during filming has always been one of professionalism. This indicates that there was no substantial marital strife related to production management. Strain. Rumors of domestic violence surfaced both during and after the divorce, and they were among the more severe ones. The assertions made their way across various online communities. When confronted with these claims, Jane acted very differently than when faced with other rumors. She rejected them outright and spoke to them straight. She showed the world that no matter what happened with their relationship, she would always protect Kilture and had no ill will against him. When she chooses to ignore or downplay a rumor, it's a strategist is to remain out of the limelight and away from gossip blogs. She is equally private about her own life as other people. Despite the failure of her marriage to Kilture, she seems to have loved and respected him forever. Have you any opinions about the Kilture family? Leave a comment with your ideas. Please subscribe, like, and share this video if you found it entertaining. Please see the other films displayed on your screen before you leave.